Ohad, nice to see more essays from you. Let's take a look straight away at this task one. It's really helpful if you can include the image in the file with your response. This way we can refer to it when we're correcting your answer. But in any case, let's take a look at what you wrote. This graph, it's not a graph bar. It's called a bar chart. Okay, so we call them line graphs, we call them pie charts, we call them bar charts. Okay, so that's the right word for this. So this bar chart illustrates the amount of leather shoes sold in 9 European countries through the year 2018. The sales are divided between brown and black shoes for convenient comparison. Okay. The country with the highest overall sales is Hungary, with well above 100,000 shoes sold in both colors. However, black shoe, here you want a no S here. Black shoe sales were slightly higher in comparison to brown shoes in this country and were the highest numbers sold overall. All right, you already said that, so that's a little superfluous. Look, you said it right here, okay? So you could have left that off. You could have left that out. Let's see. In Belgium, there was the largest difference in the amount of black and brown leather shoes purchased, while there were just above 100,000 black leather shoes. While there were just above 100,000 black leather shoes sold there, see, you didn't need this word. Brown leather shoe sales dipped to less than 10,000 units. As for brown leather shoes, consumers in Poland purchased the most out of the 9 countries examined, while Hungary and Germany shared second place. Okay. Overall, it can clearly be seen that leather shoe sales vary substantially depending on country and color. This graph represents these differences in preferences across Europe. Okay. So, this is okay. I'm assuming this is your first time doing a task one. I was okay with your introduction. I was okay with your overview. Although I do think your overview was a little too general. It would have been nice if you had been a little more specific rather than just saying that, that sales vary substantially. Could you have given us any information? Usually, well, we definitely don't use data in these overviews. What we do include is some information about the thing that's most obvious, okay? So if it's a line graph, we would talk about maybe the increase or the highest number. In this case, since it's a bar chart, what you want to talk about probably is the highest figure, or maybe the highest overall. Like, what did you think was sold mostly overall, black shoes or brown shoes? I myself haven't been able to find a particular really obvious pattern here. So what I tend to like as an overview is some mention of Hungary as being the country that sold the highest number of shoes, and that those shoes happen to be black shoes. Okay? So that's what I would probably talk about. And maybe I would talk about the country with the lowest shoe sales. I can't remember which country it was, but it was one of the countries that had brown shoe sales that were really, really low. So you could have just said that the highest shoe sales were black and they were sold in Hungary. Okay, so something like that would have been okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about task achievement and details in this paragraph. Now, if you look at task achievement, if you look at the band descriptors, you'll see that there is some mention of key information. Key information or key features, I think is how it's mentioned, is basically the categories. So it's really important you include all the categories. Now, I know that it was 9 countries, but if I'm not mistaken, you really only mentioned about 5 of them. So even by name, I don't know which the other countries were. Okay? So it's a good idea to include all the categories, even if you don't give data for them. Like what you did here with Hungary and Germany in second place, that's fine. You don't need to give data about everything, but it is important that we know which were the countries that were, included. Okay? So that's something I want you to consider. And what I have found is that what some people do is right up here, right, after you say 9 European countries, some people literally just put in parentheses the names of those 9 countries. And that's an effective way to make sure you don't miss any of those country names, okay? Because if you do miss a key feature, then that's going to put you down to a task achievement band 4. Yeah, it's really strict. So That's one thing I would have liked to see here. Now, let's move on to your task 2. Let's look at your task 2 now about traditional foods being replaced by fast food. Let's see what you said. Experts throughout both the developed and developing world have debated about the harm. It shouldn't be the harm, it should be the harm of fast food, which replaced local food in many countries. While some say it has a harmful effect on families, individuals, and society, others deny these claims. I agree that fast food has numerous harmful effects, and we'll discuss them in this essay. Okay, now, one thing, there are a couple things that I want to talk about. It's fine, it's a nice introduction, but it needed a little work with vocabulary. Why? First of all, families, individuals, and society is identical to what's here. Try to find another way to rephrase this so that you're not copying language from the text above. Secondly, there's a lot of this word harm and harmful. Look at this. Harms, harmful, and harmful. Okay? So I actually would have preferred if you had written negative, okay, even though it's here, rather than using some sort of derivative of harm. I would have preferred anything else, okay? So just be careful about that. Other than that, I thought it was fine. So let's see what you said in the body paragraphs that follow. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that fast industrial food, I don't know why you call it industrial, just call it fast food, that fast food is harmful, there's harmful again, for health and social reasons. It's harmful for health. Okay. Firstly, the obesity epidemic in the developed world is largely attributed to fast food. Numerous studies have correlated between the amount of, you don't mean industrial food. That's not a collocation we use. You could have, yeah, just fast food or um, street food, I guess usually is fast food, but it's a specific type. You could have just said fast food. It's fine. Let's see. So numerous studies have correlated between the amount of fast food consumed to obesity and, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out if correlated is actually the word you want here. Let's see. Numerous studies have, no, it's not correlated. You want to say something else. You want to say numerous studies have found a link between, or have found a correlation between the amount of industrial food consumed and obesity. Okay? Along with its complications such as diabetes and ischemic heart disease. Secondly, okay, the concept of a family dinner of local traditional food is pushed aside because it is much easier and even cheaper to buy a dinner at McDonald's than preparing a meal for a large family. For example, an extensive study from the UN revealed that after the introduction of fast food conglomerates such as McDonald's and Pizza Hut, it's actually with a U, McDonald's is out without an A, but that's neither here nor there, to the European market, there was a 25% decline in the number of families who eat a family dinner together at least once a week. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that fast food harms us as individuals without the and as a society in many ways, whether through health issues or in an attack over family traditions. All right, good. I like this because it's on topic. You mentioned the negative effect on individuals. You mentioned the negative effect on society, or rather family. Sorry about that. Well, but family and society. So it's okay. You're definitely within the right topic. You're answering it very specifically, so this is very, very good. Okay. On the other hand, critics have often argued that the impact of fast food over our lives is not solely a negative one. Oh, that's interesting. Many poor families rely, without the A, because you wrote relay, and that's a totally different word. So rely extensively on a fast food diet. This is largely because fast food, or you could have said this food, is generally cheap, whereas fresh food and meat is rather expensive. For the poor, comma, fast food may be the best solution for food. Well, let's see. How about this? For the poor, comma, fast food may be the best solution for sustenance, and they might have no other choice. Another argument is that traditional food in some parts of the world is not that rich, R-I-C-H, and healthy, and may in these areas, what happened here? And in these areas, here we go. And in these areas, fast food can be the difference between the locals and malnourishment. Okay. For example, the diet in Sichuan district in China is based mostly on rice, and most of its citizens suffer from osteoporosis due to this diet. Thus, it's possible that fast food, not industrial, may be healthier for these people than their traditional food consumption. All right, that's very interesting. It's very interesting. Let's see. Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. To conclude the arguments and examples stated above, I strongly agree that fast food has extensively negative, has well, I wouldn't say extensively negative impact. That's not really a collocation. Let's say it a little differently. So I strongly agree that fast food has a widely negative impact over both society and individuals, mainly due to its disastrous health implications. Okay, what about family? You didn't mention family here. That would have been nice. Now, I told you that I thought this paragraph was really interesting. I actually really liked it. I always find it very interesting. I can't come up with another word, sorry. But I do find it a really good idea if you can find some sort of way to say, hey, you know what? This shift towards fast food is not all bad. Okay, I think it makes for a much richer essay. So I'm really glad you did that. Now, let me tell you where the problem is. The problem is that you said fast food has numerous harmful effects, and I will discuss them in this essay. Okay, but that's only part of your essay. That's only half of your essay. The other half of your essay talked about how it's actually a wonderful solution for some people. And so since you did focus an entire paragraph on that, you really should have addressed it in your introduction. And it's not that hard. You basically just need to do the same thing, but you also need to kind of point out that you've got a paragraph talking about the positives. So it could have been something like, I agree that fast food has numerous harmful effects, yet can help some segments of society. Okay, so something like that. I mean, I'm not saying you had to write it like that, but something like that would have been a really nice way to address the fact that you spent a whole paragraph on this. Because when you don't, your examiner is just going to think like, okay, well, where did this come from? I didn't have any sort of indication about this in the introduction. And so it's kind of like you're not making your position clear throughout the essay, right? Because we know how important that is. You have to make your position clear throughout the entire essay. All right, but I do like this. I thought you did a nice job, a very good job. So just some little changes here and there, and you're definitely on the right track, okay? So I think Daphne will be coming back from her few days off. So if you need anything else from me, just let me know. But best of luck to you.